Hi, Joel Cut here, Haptic Networks. Just another brief video looking at one of the sections of our website that we're particularly proud of. The last video that we did delved into the About Us page. This time around, would like to show you all a little bit about one of our case studies. This was the project that we undertook at the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, a couple of years ago now. We were very happy about this one. This not only managed to get us on the front page of the Telegraph, which was really good for us. Previously, we had some work that had been announced and portrayed on the Jumbotron at Times Square with Marston's PLC, which was a highlight. But actually having some space dedicated on the front page of the Telegraph was really good. And this case study in particular was by far one of the proudest moments that we've had as a business. And this is a kind of story that I tell people when we're discussing it. It's not necessarily down to the fact that we were working for a very auspicious institution. Obviously, the Royal Hospital Chelsea, home of the Chelsea pensioners, huge building, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. Really kind of iconic, and more importantly, instead of being a landmark, and instead of being a building that had significance, what we really liked about the Royal Hospital Chelsea is that it's still very much in use. One wing of the building being a fully functional, fully fledged hospital in its own right, and the other half full of living spaces and quarters and dormitories for the Chelsea pensioners, and over 300 of the Chelsea pensioners, the red coats, which we see and we love and we hold as national treasures. So the key thing for us with this deployment, and one reason why we were particularly proud about it, was really the kind of complexity that came from working within such an environment. As you can imagine, when Sir Christopher Wren was sort of building and drawing up plans for the architecture of such buildings, it wasn't dot and dab and suspended ceilings. This building had some incredible sort of structure to it. We're talking sort of 6 foot to 8 foot thick concrete walls, floors that didn't kind of have sort of flooring and standard floorboards, but more in line with like whole tree trunks that were separating the floors. So when you're looking at proposing a Wi-Fi solution, and when you're looking at designing and deploying that Wi-Fi solution, you have to look at the structure, and you have to look at the architecture that's going to be on the site that you're working with. So for us, it was a really interesting deployment. The user case came from the fact that the Chelsea pensioners, as well as the staff, they had nothing even resembling a Wi-Fi kind of signaling connection. Various sort of routers dotted around, but it was really interesting to go and meet some of the residents and some of the Chelsea pensioners, and to see that within their dormitories, the majority of them had kind of Skype set up and using kind of FaceTime to talk to their relatives, and using mobile devices, which was absolutely kind of wonderful to see as a use case. So yeah, we embarked and we first went to meet the Royal Hospital Chelsea and the network team there, and talk to them about what the outcomes were that they were hoping to achieve, and then it was on to the survey and going around the site. So when we effectively handed over and completed the design workshop and laid our proposal out, it was on to the installation. And slap bang in the middle of Chelsea, as you can imagine, that's not necessarily easy with the building obviously having the kind of prestige that it does. Obviously access for our engineers was sort of less than easy, but again, it was really about the sort of complexity of working within that sort of complex environment, due to the nature of its structure, as well as the aesthetic. We were kind of tasked with making sure that the aesthetics were kept, and we weren't kind of disrupting the visuals of the building, as well as obviously the fact that again it's effectively it's someone's home. If you're working in a business environment, sometimes you can schedule installations during sort of downtime and out of hours. If you're working on a deployment within schools, colleges, and universities, you can schedule that sometimes when pupils aren't present. But when it is effectively a home and people are living there, it makes it a bit more complex. So, we had instances where we had engineers working at heights, and one of the residents would come out, and they didn't need to ask, and they didn't need to ask permission. It was more of a case of just a nod, as if to say, you guys are in my way. And obviously completely out of courtesy and respect and everything else, our engineers were obviously moving out of the way and allowing the Chelsea pensioners and the residents to sit where they wanted and to be where they wanted. So all of these things added a level of complexity to it. But for me, it was a shining example of how we have been able to work over the past 12 years and how we can work to completely tailor a solution that not only fits the user requirements, but also work with the institution and the organization itself to make sure that disruption is kept to a minimum. So we were very, very happy with the deployment. We were very, very happy with the outcomes. There was a nice quote there about Haptic Networks, and our team were excellent to work with, and they clearly know the technology being used, which again was really nice feedback. So as we move towards a refresh of the website, a quick delve into one of our case studies today. So thanks for listening. If anyone wants to know any more about this or any more of the work that we do, drop us a comment or contact us via the website, and we'll be happy to help out. Thanks a lot.